So something that I hear a lot is how exhausted my mamas feel. Even not necessarily mamas. I've worked with women who have survived abusive relationships, who are moms, who aren't moms, who want to be moms, who have no desire to be moms. And there's this collective feeling that comes in that people don't really understand just how much it impacts us. And that's the fact that healing is exhausting. I'm not just talking about how it can be mentally exhausting, which absolutely it can be too, but I'm talking about how it actually physically makes you tired. Committing to your healing takes energy away from other parts of your body. So let me take a step back. Your brain, when in the abusive relationship, is permanently changed. There are neural pathways that have been connected. There are certain things you're going to believe. You may have developed things such as PTSD or CPTSD. You might be going through and struggling through some of these things. And when you make the active decision to change those, your brain goes into what the hell mode. And it has to devote all of this energy to changing and healing and moving forward that it cannot give energy to everywhere in your body all at once. Your brain is absolutely incredible, but it has a finite amount of energy, right? We have to, just like our phones have a finite amount of energy. Yes, we can recharge them, but we have to put them down long enough to charge. We have to put them down long enough in order to get enough battery for us to do what we need to do. And if we don't let it fill up to 100%, if we only let it fill up to 5% or 10%, it's not going to be, it's not going to give us what we need for as long as we need it. And our brain is the same way. What I notice is that we tend to forget that our brain is not this just like hippie woo-woo thing out in the world. Like, it's an actual physical organ. If you were to fall and break your arm, you're not going to just say, oh, it'll get fine on its own. It'll be fine on its own. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to, keep going about my day while it just flops here. Hell no. You're going to get your butt into urgent care in the emergency room so you can get x-rays and get it fixed up, and you're going to get it in a cast so that way it'll heal and you're going to move forward with your life. When we think of our brain, we think, oh, okay, I understand this concept. I should be done with this. I'm just going to go about my day. That's not how the brain works. Understanding what to do and then implementing it takes energy. And it takes caloric energy. Here's another example. You don't go to the gym when you're starving, because your body is going to use whatever energy it has left to push you through whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you're going to end up with an injury. You're going to end up passing out. You're not going to get the results that you want because your muscles are exhausted. Before you go to the gym, you power up. You will eat good food. You'll drink a protein shake. You will chug water. You're going to make sure that your body is prepared, and you might even bring a snack for during and or after the workout, because you know that your body is going to be taking a lot of energy to get you through your workout. After our workout, we're not surprised when we're tired. When we are sore the day after a workout, we're not surprised because we're like, oh man, this hurts, but it means my body's doing something. But yet our brain, the biggest, most functional portion of our body, of our existence, goes through something similar, and we expect it to just be, nah, it's fine. Nah, it's fine. Like, let's just ignore it. The brain does not work that way. Your brain takes energy. And right now, you have built up all of these neural pathways that now have to be broken down and rebuilt. If you were to go take a sledgehammer to your house and break it down and rebuild it, that's going to take time and energy. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to need other resources. You're going to need support. You're going to need help. So we have to think of our brain the same way. So that whole rant about the brain is important because I need you to understand that if you're feeling tired, that's normal. If you are more exhausted, that's normal. Because your brain is saying, okay, if all this work is going on up here, then I need to pull energy away from, getting work done. I have to pull energy away from doing the dishes. I have to pull energy away from anything that isn't 100% necessary for my survival. Because right now I just don't got it. I have to give it up here. Our brain tells our body how much energy to pump out. But when it has to take the energy to heal, it cannot pump out that energy. So of course you're exhausted. Now, I don't say this to be discouraging, because a lot of mamas are going to hear this and they're going to say, oh my gosh, well then I don't have time. I don't have time to be tired. I'm already exhausted. What am I going to do? But here's the thing. One, this doesn't mean that you're not going to have energy for doing other things. And it doesn't mean that you're not capable of reallocating or delegating some things in order for you to continue on your healing journey. Because you have been so tired for most of your life because your brain is so stuck in survival. So if you can get through this period of healing where you're exhausted because your brain's in what the hell mode, trying to break out of survival, trying to create these new neural pathways, you're going to reach a point where your brain is functioning better and you're going to have more energy overall. This is the power of healing. I'm not saying any of this to give you an excuse or to give you an out or for you to say, well, I just can't do it today because I don't want to waste my precious energy. No, this is where now you have to get disciplined. You have to say, man, I'm exhausted, but I'm going to get up and journal anyway. Man, I'm so tired, but I'm still going to go to my therapist. I don't feel like it, but I'm gonna. Oh my God, I'm so exhausted. I don't want to sit here and work on my triggers, but I also know that I want to build my relationship with my kids, so I'm going to do it anyway. The same lecture that we give our kids that motivation doesn't last and we have to rely on discipline, we have to choose to be committed, we just have to go all in. We have to apply that to ourselves in our healing journey because your brain is fighting against you every step of the way. It's exhausted. It doesn't want to. Your brain might even still be somewhat trauma bonded and trying to pull you back to the abusive relationship. This is where you have to dig in your heels and say, no, I'm choosing to change for me. I'm choosing to change for my kids. I'm choosing to change for my future. I'm choosing to change so I can be the mom that I've always wanted to be. So with all that being said, how are you supposed to still function? How are you supposed to create this commitment? How are you supposed to create this discipline when you're already so dang tired? It's required, not even recommend, it's required to get support of some kind. You have to be supported, whether that's a therapist or a partner or a friend or a Facebook group, or, maybe you get on a Zoom call once a week with the girls. Maybe you hire a babysitter or a mother's helper, right? Whatever this is, it can be free or it can cost money. Wherever you're at, whatever will work for you. If you're currently in a place where you can't really invest in outside support, or you don't have a lot of support, or if you're like me and you're a single parent and you don't really have a lot of family around to help, then you need to create that support by setting up your schedules and routines to incorporate this into your day. And this may mean that you need to give up a few things for right now. Not forever, but just for right now, maybe for a few weeks. You say, you know what, I'm creating this new routine where I am going to, while the kids are in school, I'm going to journal, from noon to 12:15. And I know that I'm not really going to be in a good headspace. So from 12:15 to 12:40, I'm going to make sure that that's the time where I go get in the shower, or I'm going to go take a nap, or I'm going to eat something really good. I'm going to put in food, and while it's cooking, I'm going to do my journaling so that way I can replenish my body, and I'm going to take care of myself. You're going to want to make sure that you're drinking your water and that you are eating food that's going to fill you up and recharge you, that you are creating an environment for healing. And I know this is so much easier said than done. I get it. I also understand what it's like to try to heal when you are in the pit of toxicity with people around you and you might not be able to get out right now. And so I don't want to make light of anyone's situation, but this is one of those things where you have to commit and you have to decide that this is worth your time and that this is worth your effort, where you're going to need to set up schedules and routines. Maybe you can get the kids set up in an after school program so you have some more time. Or maybe you take the time to teach, if you have older kids, teach them to take on some of the chores so you don't have to do as much. Yes, it's going to be exhausting. Yes, they're going to pitch a fit. And yes, they're going to learn. They got to learn these life skills anyway, so they may as well learn them now while you are doing your part as a mother to save them from the generational cycles of trauma and abuse that you went through. And I'm not trying to make this all come off like it's easy, because I know it's not. But I just need you to understand how important this is and how it needs to be a priority in your life. And when it comes to healing, there's so many different things you can do. You can absolutely go see a therapist or a counselor, and if you have the means to, you absolutely should. But if that isn't quite there yet, you can watch YouTube videos and do the journaling prompts, or you can listen to this podcast and go through and implement some of the things that I teach here. You can grab Worthy of Recovery, which is my 30-day journal of survivors available on Amazon, where it takes you less than 20 minutes a day. You can grab Cycle Breaker, which is my course for less than $100, where you can go through in less than a weekend and begin to really change your life. Like, There's so many things that you can do to support yourself. You can read the books. You can learn about your brain. You can learn about your kids' brains. There's an episode that I did that walks you through like the beginner's guide to healing from abuse as a mom. I'll link to that one below in the show notes or show description depending on where you're consuming the content. There are ways to do it, but you have to set up that support and you have to set up your brain for success, because the more tired it is, the more it's going to want to go back to what's comfortable. And when you are in this pit of exhaustion where your kids are screaming at you and you're trying so desperately to heal and you feel like no matter what you do, it's like you're running through peanut butter and nothing is happening fast enough and you feel like you're going to completely lose your mind, you need to have that support in place. You have to have that support in place. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying that any of the suggestions that I gave are easy or that there's something that you may be able to implement today, but it's something that you need to work towards. Because one, your brain, like I said, is going to be tired. But two, your brain also needs support. Because right now, it's just like, when we get addicted to sugar, we want sugar all the time. Does that mean that our body is, or does that mean that sugar is good for us? No. Does it even mean that our body likes sugar? No. It means that our brain is getting that chemical hit from the sugar and we just want more of it, right? We don't fix a sugar addiction by giving it more sugar. We fix a sugar addiction by weaning off or cutting it out altogether and saying, no, I'm not doing this. And then we know that it's going to suck and we know that there's going to be pain and we know we're going to go through withdrawals, but we do it anyway because we know that we want to get healthy. We have to treat our brain in that same way. We have to understand that when our brain wants us to go back to what's easy and comfortable, that we don't have to listen to it and that we shouldn't listen to it. Because right now, our brain doesn't really care about what's good for us. It cares about what's comfortable. And what's comfortable is chaos and toxic relationships, right? So this was kind of a little bit of a rambly episode, but I just want you to understand that of course you're tired. You're not crazy. It makes 100% sense. And also that you should get support. You're allowed to get support. That doesn't make you lazy. It doesn't make you less than. It doesn't make you a bad mom. It just means that you're human and you're dedicated to your healing and you're dedicated to changing not only your life, but your kids' lives. And that sounds pretty amazing to me. So I hope this episode helped. If it did, I would love for you to, one, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below. If you're listening to the podcast, go and write a review on whatever podcast platform you listen on. This really helps me get this message out to more people, more survivor mamas, and get the support to people who desperately need it.